Hello, it is 5 a.m. in Washington. It's noon in Tripoli. I'm Monita Rajpal. You're watching World 1 live from London. We're in Libya, where there are fears the country is sliding towards civil war. Pro-government forces have tried a number of times to push the opposition out of key towns in the east. Our reporter Ben Wiedemann is there. He says morale among rebel fighters is high. Anti-government fighters seem to have the upper hand in the east of the country, while the government is still in control of the capital. Here's a look at some of the strategic points around the country. Here's another look at the increasingly desperate refugee situation. There are so many tents in one border town. They can be from that can be seen from a satellite in space. Down there is a town in Tunisia, not far from the border with Libya. The UN says there's an urgent need. The Communist Party seems to have been spooked by the images of popular uprisings against authoritarian governments. There are reports of journalists being beaten and lawyers tailed by police. One high-profile human rights lawyer told Stan Grant about a harsh crackdown on dissidents. Let's take a look at the weather. More rain on the way for Italy, where they are still recovering from this week's deadly storms. Meteorologist Ivan Cabrera is at the World Weather Center for us. Ivan.
Monita, good to see you. It was essentially the equivalent of a Category 2 storm. Not sustained winds retire the space shuttle program. It's just going to be rockets going up into space, but always fun to watch there.
Yeah, it was good to get a different perspective. Indeed. Ivan, thank you very much. This is World 1 live from London. It is the biggest event on the Austrian social calendar. Welcome back. You are watching World 1. Here are some of the stories that we're talking about. The annual Vienna Opera Ball isn't usually known for its pole dancers, but all eyes were on Italy's most famous nightclub worker as the society event of the year got underway. The teenager known as Ruby the Heart Stealer was the guest of Austrian millionaire Richard Lugner, sitting in his box alongside Dallas actor Larry Hagman. The dancer is at the center of a scandal that's threatening to bring down Italian Prime Minister Silvio Berlusconi. Now, this little guy might not look like much. I feel like he's on me right now. But this little spider has managed to spin a whole web of trouble for Mazda. The car maker has had to recall 52,000 vehicles, mostly in the U.S. It says a number of reports have shown the yellow sac spider likes to build its webs inside the fuel system of the Mazda 6 sedan. It's offering to install a device to keep the spiders out because the webs could create a blockage that might lead to a fire. Ooh. And it roars up through the clouds before plummeting back to crash land in the sea. Now, thanks to cameras mounted on the side of the shuttle's rocket booster, you can follow that journey. Just look at these NASA TV images offering fantastic views of the launch and the separation from the orbiter. Later, you'll see it fall back to Earth and plunge into the ocean. Well, you might call it dictator chic. A stylish suit worn by fallen Egyptian leader Hosni Mubarak. But take a closer look at the pinstripes, and you'll find that there's more to this outfit than meets the eye, as Jeannie Most discovered.
Sure, any filthy rich dictator can have his name monogrammed.
Well, let's take a look at how the newspapers around the world are covering this and what they're saying. In the United Arab Emirates, The National has the headline, Libya's madness requires a patient and logical reply. The paper says demands that someone, somewhere do something are understandable. The UK's Independent quotes rebel forces in Libya saying Gaddafi's men had heavier weapons, but we had more to fight for. The article says, although the outcome of what is now a civil war is far from certain. And the International Herald Tribune has an opinion piece by Libyan novelist Mohammed Al-Asfar headlined Libya's patient revolutionaries. It says the people of the entire world are with us, and watchers dream and a security nightmare. Just 8 weeks to go until Prince William and Kate Middleton tie the knot in Westminster Abbey. The wedding is expected to cost millions of pounds and millions of dollars, no doubt, with the taxpayers footing the bill for public security. Dan Rivers has been finding out what it takes to police an event on this scale. We want to take a look at what's trending on social media right now. At number 3, careful what you tweet, folks. Courtney Love's Twitter rant against a fashion designer has cost her nearly $500,000. The singer settled a lawsuit after designer Dawn Simaranger sued her for remarks she made on the microblogging site. Love posted messages on Twitter and on her personal blog accusing the designer of theft and having a criminal background. At number 2, social media can't seem to get enough of this gentleman right here. Charlie Sheen, the actor, set a world record as the fastest person to gain 1 million Twitter followers. It took him just 25 hours and 17 minutes. His phrases Tiger Blood and Plan Better are also trending pretty high. And at number 1, Britney's done it again. Her newest single, Till the World Ends, has surfaced online, making her one of the most talked about people today. Snippets from her new album have been gradually leaked on the web, and it's proving a hit with her fans. And you can find us online too for more of the top stories and some behind-the-scenes videos and photos. Go to facebook.com/W1. A lockout is the last thing any sports fan wants to see, and we all know that contract negotiations can be tons of fun. Don Riddell here with more on the NFL lockout.
Thanks very much, Monita. There has been an agreement between NFL team owners of March.
Hopefully they'll have a plan B just in case.
They might need one.
Right, all right, Don, thank you very much. You're watching World One live from London. The latest casualty of the Libyan uprising, the head of a respected school, quits over money received from an embarrassing source. A respected academic is the latest person to be caught up in the Libyan uprising. Sir Howard Davies has left his post as director of the prestigious London School of Economics. The school agreed to accept a $2.5 million donation from a charity run by Said Resignation.
Well, to be sure, Sir Howard Davies is not just the director of the LSE. He's very highly respected in the field of finance and economics.
It is such a reputable institution, not only in the UK, but around the world, in its sense, in the world of finance. But this certainly does show the far reach that Libya's money, Gaddafi's money, the millions, has around the world.
Well, exactly, because not only did he advise the LSE to accept this money, but he was also served a role as a government envoy.
You know, UK's government ministers were doing business with Gaddafi, so I guess it's not as black and white.
Exactly.
All right, Atika, thank you very much for that. Well, the British government is stepping up efforts to pressure the Gaddafi regime. The Financial Times reports that the UK froze about $3.2 billion in Libyan assets on Thursday. Those assets are said to include holdings at HSBC. Well, that money belongs to Tripoli's Sovereign Wealth Fund, and as Atika was reporting, the Libyan Investment Authority, or the LIA, it is said to control about $70 billion worth of assets. Here's a look at where you can find Libyan money. As recently as last year, Carrie is the latest celebrity to respond to reports that she was paid to perform for Muammar Gaddafi. Carrie has released a statement saying she was naive and unaware of who she was performing on Libya throughout the day here on CNN. You're watching World One live from London. I'm Monita Rajpal. Thank you for joining us. We want to give you another look at the flight of Discovery. It is a spectacular shot from the rocket booster camera. You're watching CNN.